Relationships are at the core of the human experience, yet they often feel like an enigma, a puzzle too complex for us to solve. We yearn for connection, for intimacy, but in the chaos of emotions and expectations, many of us fall into despair. For men especially, raised to think that vulnerability is a sign of weakness, navigating relationships can feel like walking a tightrope over a dark abyss. But what if the answer to building a lasting, fulfilling relationship wasn't in how we control others, but rather in how we govern ourselves? The power of self-mastery. In the realm of Stoicism, true power lies not in our ability to control external events, but in our capacity to rule our inner world. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This simple yet profound truth is key to building lasting relationships. Too often, we allow ourselves to be carried away by destructive emotions, jealousy, insecurity, fear of abandonment. We let our anxiety take over, leading to arguments, resentment, and fractured bonds. But the Stoic path teaches us that the real battle is not with our partner, but with our own emotions. We must first overcome the tempest within ourselves before we can hope to bring harmony into our relationships. When we cling to the illusion of control over someone else, we suffer. We become needy, possessive, paranoid. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." True intimacy begins when we relinquish the illusion of control and focus on what we can govern: our actions, our thoughts, and our responses. Love and resilience. Stoicism is often misunderstood as being cold or detached, but it's not about building emotional walls. Rather, it's about building inner resilience. Love is a choice, a deliberate action rooted in virtue, compassion, patience, and wisdom. To love deeply, we must be strong enough to withstand the chaos of life and committed to the growth of our partner and ourselves. Seneca, a Roman statesman and Stoic thinker, reminds us, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In relationships, this speaks to our tendency to crave affection and validation, to demand more from our partner, instead of cultivating inner abundance. Instead of seeking to fill the void within us through someone else, we must strive to be complete individuals, capable of love without expectation. When we let go of our emotional baggage, when we release the fears that keep us shackled, we create space for love to flourish. A love not rooted in need, but in choice. The Stoic understands that building lasting relationships is not about molding the other person into our ideal image. It's about accepting them as they are, while focusing on becoming the best version of ourselves. Facing challenges together. Life will inevitably test our relationships, and there will be times of struggle, periods of distance, misunderstanding, and hurt. In such moments, it is tempting to withdraw or lash out, to protect our fragile ego at the cost of the connection we've built. But the Stoic reminds us of the value of fortitude. Relationships are forged not in times of ease, but in times of trial. It is in these moments of challenge that we find the opportunity to grow together. Epictetus said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." When faced with challenges, we must respond with courage, with honesty, and with empathy. We must resist the urge to react impulsively, and instead choose to respond with intention. In this way, we transform conflict into growth, and our struggles become the crucible in which our bonds are made stronger. The inner work. To build a lasting relationship, we must first do the inner work, to cultivate our own character, to practice self-control, and to strive for virtue. We must look inward and ask ourselves, are we acting out of fear or love? Are we seeking to control, or are we embracing acceptance? Are we practicing patience, empathy, and understanding, or are we allowing our emotions to rule us? The Stoic path is not easy. It requires discipline, introspection, and a willingness to face our own flaws. But it is this very path that leads us to true connection, to relationships that are not built on shifting sands of fleeting emotion, but on the unshakable foundation of virtue and self-mastery. Conclusion: the journey of self and others. Building lasting relationships requires us to embrace a simple yet difficult truth. The key to loving others lies in mastering ourselves. When we are no longer ruled by our fears, when we are strong enough to endure without losing our virtue, we create the conditions for a relationship that can endure.